Hey everyone, sorry for the weird looking set stuff being all over this bed here. It's just my guest bedroom, still kind of work in progress, but I figured for now it's a nice area for me just to put some stuff out to mess with. I'm actually working on a little project here, building my own test bench out of some old parts. And one thing that I don't have used and I needed to buy is this power supply. And figured since it's here and we have it, why not take a look at it? Looks pretty cool. Let's go. I seriously need a bigger desk. Oof. That barely fits in the frame here. Alright, so here we have Corsair CX650F RGB power supply. Now this is a 650 watt and it has RGB. I didn't buy it because of RGB. I think it's a bit silly, especially since most modern cases have your fan facing down all the way at the bottom of the case, so you'll probably never see those unless it reflects off your desk a little bit or something. I got this because it was a good deal. It was like $72, I think, on Amazon, and it's a fully modular power supply, a good amount of power for the price for sure. Now, I'm not only gonna look at the product here. I think in this video I'm gonna offer a couple of pieces of unsolicited advice about power supplies. So one of them is, yes, there are cheaper options. Like Amazon has a ton of weird no-name power supplies, and some of them even have good reviews and a lot of stars, but I do not recommend that. So I think most of PC builders, they've been doing it for a while, will tell you, don't trip out on your power supply. This is one of the most important pieces of your system, something that you don't think about often, but it powers everything, every component, and something goes wrong here, it can destroy literally every other component in your system. Not necessarily at once, but your processor, your RAM, your motherboard, your hard drives. If your power supply goes bad, something goes wrong with it, it can fry all or one of them or several instantly. And you'll be regretting buying, saving a few bucks on a cheap supply. So you can find a power supply for, I don't know, 40 bucks, 50 bucks. Even some of the more known brands like EVGA or Thermaltake have them, say at Best Buy for around $50 for like 500 watts. That's not bad. But if you can find a good deal on something a little bit more, I guess, I don't want to say high-end, advanced for the money, for only about $20-30 more, that's the way to go. Now normally this should cost about 100 bucks, so at that point you're looking at double the price, and depending on your budget and the system you're building, that might definitely make a difference. But if you can find on sale, I recommend going with something just with a little bit more wattage and a little bit better warranty. I believe this one has 5-year warranty, and kind of a reliability that comes with the brand, like Corsair, for example. I never had any issues with their stuff. So obviously a little manual here. My apologies for it being cut off. Really limited by space. Put it aside. And so let's see, put all the stuff that comes in the bag aside there. Let's get the unit out. Continue with the unboxing. Okay, cool. Important information. Safety information here. Alright, the unit itself is right there. Now I got in this white color, not necessarily because I need it in white, but mainly because for the build I'm doing, like I just showed you, it's going to be an open air test bench, and I don't really care what color it is. I actually think white will probably look cool in that. So there's no color matching in that one, doesn't matter. So you have some branding on both sides, and like I showed before in my previous Corsair power supply unboxing, it's pretty clever. So if you have it in the bottom of your case, you'll be seen like this. So your branding, like some cases have a little window so you can still see your power supply, it's right side up. Or if you have it on top of your case like this, it's also going to be right side up. Or if you have it on top of your case even like this, if you can still find a case, unless you're reusing your old case that has a power supply at the top. No matter how you put it, your branding is always going to be right side up, and that's smart. Not everybody do it like this still. So, right here, basic stuff. You have Corsair logo. Of course, your power cable goes in here, and on and off switch here. I'll leave it on off. This button here, RGB, pretty clear what this does. It changes your RGB colors. Now, I am pretty sure you can hook it up to an RGB hub if you have one, which I do in my main desktop, but won't in this system. But if you have one, you can hook it up and control it with Corsair software, with their IQ software. So of course, all your PC power cables plug into here. They have your motherboard, PCIe or CPU, right there, your SATA, and that's it. No, RGB, as we just mentioned. Designed for use with genuine Corsair Type 4 cable sets only. That's a good point. So this brings me to my second piece of advice. Something that I actually kind of learned the hard way is do not mix and match power supply cables. Even if they fit in there, even if they look the same, if they're from different brands, and even if they're from the same brand, they're not meant to be interchangeable. So you're only supposed to use the cables that are designed for your power supply. And even if you have to buy extras, make sure they're the right type. So here it says you have to use Corsair Type 4 cables. It's important. If you put the wrong cable in here and plug it into your system, it can seriously damage your component. It can fry that component instantly, or it can fry your power supply, or it can even cause fire. It can cause whatever. Like, there's literally connectors and cables, they are in different spots. And even if it looks the same, the connector itself, because most of them are, if not all, are standard layout. Like, see how some of them are just square, some have cut off corners. So they're designed to make sure you don't put the cable in the wrong way or the wrong cable in. Even if that cable fits, if it's not the right type of cable, it can be a disaster. And like I mentioned, it's something I learned the hard way. Thankfully, nothing got fried in my system. The system just wouldn't turn on, but I did make that mistake before. I tried an EVGA cable with a Corsair power supply just because I thought it looked better in the system, and it was dumb. So I make mistakes so you don't have to. You have your power cable, and here we have some actual cables for the unit. Now, this is something I didn't realize when I was ordering the power supply, but now that I see it, I think it's very cool that the cables are actually matching the color of the unit. They're white, and some black and white. With this, if you have kind of like a white theme system going, or something light, you know, like gray, or even if there's like a mix of black and white, you don't have to worry about additional cable sleeves or extensions. This already comes with nice white cables, and they have some sleeves on them. They look pretty good. Thank God they're not the ketchup and mustard cables like you get with some real cheap power supplies. And did I mention I like the fact that it's fully modular? I do. Even some of the power supplies that are a little bit cheaper, they're kind of half and half. They're partially modular, so they have some of your main component cables like your motherboard and your CPU coming out of power supply already, but then you have few additional connectors for cables that you may or may not need, like your SATA or VGA cables, or those, whatever they're called, I forgot at this point. I like a fully modular model for myself, so I'll be using this on the test bench. It's perfect. I don't have to have too many cables just sticking all over the place. I'll just plug in what I need. I'll make sure that this is easily accessible from the side of my system, and just plug in what I need when I need it. So obviously just your standard collection of cables. I think we're gonna avoid going over all, what all the cables are included. It's something that can be very easily looked up online. And here you have an adapter of some sort. Yeah, you can use this to connect to a motherboard header for RGB. So you don't have to necessarily have a hub from Corsair. This should plug into here. No, I'm dumb. It doesn't plug into there. but it is some sort of adapter. Is there a cable? There it is. So there is a cable for your RGB. So this will plug into here. And this will plug into your unit, and this can be plugged into your motherboard. That way you can actually control your RGB lights through the software, whatever comes with your motherboard, whatever is available to you, without a need for a Corsair RGB hub, which is nice. Overall, it's nice, compact, fairly lightweight, but it feels very nice and sturdy. I trust Corsair. How about we go plug it in to the system and just see what it looks like. And now I have it hooked up to my test setup. For now, I only have the motherboard power and the CPU power connected, because that's all I want to know. If the unit power is on, if the system power is on. I don't have a SATA cable around, I don't have a monitor here, so I don't think I have to worry about anything else at the moment. I plugged in my power button to the header there, and this is the power button I got from Amazon. I think it's kind of cool. It has the actual keyboard switch in there, and like a keyboard keycap, they can be removed and replaced with another one if desired. And also magnetic in the bottom, so like can be attached to things. But let's see what happens when we press it. I already turned it on here, and obviously it's turned on to the wall. So here we go. And it comes to life. So the first impression for this, if there should be one, really, I mean, obviously it works, so great. It didn't explode, didn't smoke, nothing like that. I do trust Corsair stuff. The fan is silent. I'm a bit surprised. So them cheap EVGA and Thermaltake power supplies that you can get at Best Buy, they get the job done, but I could always hear the fan, especially with Thermaltake. Now, of course, my Noctua is really quiet. It's on. It's weird how on video it appears that it stops, just because it's how it spins, but it is spinning. So weird. And this one is definitely on too. Again, it's weird how camera captures it. It feels like it's moving so much slower than it looks with your own eye. But yeah, completely silent. And you know what? This RGBs, they actually look pretty nice. Corsair makes some nice RGBs. So here, take a look. Looks like they're about 8 LEDs, pretty similar to their case fans. And just a nice, clean look. So there's that. And real quick, I want to demonstrate something. So let's go ahead and turn it on. It's in my open air bench that I made myself. There's actual computer and stuff. But I just want to say I used it for about 3 or 4 days. I wanted to give it a little bit of time before I make a conclusion here. And I gotta say, it works perfectly fine. Haven't had any issues with power. Turns on, obviously powers the computer perfectly fine. So in that regard, there are no complaints. Now what I wanted to share with you is there are 3 ways you can actually adjust and control those RGBs. At first I thought it was totally useless, but now I actually kind of like it, especially in my application since it's facing up, the fan, and you can see the light. It's nice. So anyway, here's what I learned. You have 3 ways you can control your RGB light on this fan. You can use an included cable with a Corsair RGB controller, like a Commander Pro for example, or I think there's another one called Commander Core or something like that. So that requires an additional device. If you have a Corsair case or maybe an all-in-one cooler, you might already have one. The other way you can do it is by connecting it to an ARGB header. This is not the one, but if you have it on your motherboard and using your motherboard manufacturer's software. I don't have that kind of header, so I'm not doing that. And the third way, there's actually a button there, a little bit hard to see, but we saw it a few minutes ago. So this button allows you to control this RGBs with some of the presets. So you can do a long press on it for 3 seconds to change the style, or just a quick press to change the color. So let me just first try changing the color. So there you have it. And if I press and hold, it kind of changes the mode. There are a few different presets there. You can completely turn it off. Back to the original, kind of rainbow scrolling. And so on. So 3-second press will change the mode of the lighting, and a quick press, if available, will change the color. So some of them don't have a different color. Some are just changing colors and just cycling. And the ones that do, the quick press of the button in the back will change that color. Just like that. All in all, for the price that these guys go for, the amount of power they give you, wattage, the style, the quality, warranty, RGB fan, a brand name, I think it's an excellent deal. Definitely recommend. I'm becoming a Corsair fanboy. Everything I've tried from them has been great.